This is going to be a terrific game. Oh, nice shots.
Goal there, that does the job.
It's a beautiful shot.
That's hit beautifully.
The atmosphere here is electric. That'll certainly get him going.
You make me feel so alive.
Oh, the unpredictability of the great game. The ebb, the flow, the hill, the valley. I think the drama will continue. Yeah, that's why we love cricket.
Oh, down. The edge finally did come. And another one down.
That's... Oh, he hasn't, has he? He's dropped it. Another one has gone down. 3 this morning. That's down as well. It's Fred Carno's out there.
There's an edge. And there's a catch. That's more like it.
It's a thriller minute at the Wanderers.
Oh, that's a good shot.
A 38 ball 50 for Safraz. We keep saying it, don't we? Don't know what's going to come next in this game. The minute you think you've got it taped, it reminds you that you'll never have this game taped. That's out. There you go. The minute you think you've got this game taped, you'll be reminded you never have this game taped. Oh, that's brilliantly bowled. That's worked out by Olivier.
And again, he gets to raise the ball as it goes off. Duan Olivier. Well bowled, sir. 5 for 51. And Pakistan are all out for 185.
Cricket on a knife edge, a party vibe at the Wanderers. That's LBW, surely, keeps low, traps Hamza. It's kind of breathless cricket. A pulsating day of Test match cricket at the Bidfest Wanderers. Finishes with South Africa 212 in front and still 5 second innings wickets in hand. That's a healthy position. Yes, by a knife edge, it hung for so much of yesterday until South Africa found another gear in that final passage of play. Welcome, everybody, to the third day's play in this third Castle Lager Test match at the Wanderers in Johannesburg. Another lovely day, not quite as steamingly hot as it has been over the previous 2 days, but a match that we're thoroughly enjoying and finding unable to predict. Let's have a look at the summary of the game overnight. A reminder that Quentin de Kock and Hashim Amla played so well, as I mentioned, in that final passage of play, that they managed to get South Africa out of a hole, 135 for 5. It came on the back of a sensible innings from Temba Bavuma. He didn't go on to a substantial score, but he did his bit to hold Pakistan at bay. Pakistan bowled out for 185 in reply to South Africa's 262. Now 135 for 5 are the South Africans in their second innings, a lead of 212. With me are Michael Holding and Kevin Peterson. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Mark, and hello to all our viewers, wherever they may be.
Oh, we did enjoy that yesterday, didn't we?
Some good cricket, but also some bad cricket, in my opinion, from Pakistan when they were batting, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Morning, Mark. Morning, Mikey. Yeah, I think I know where Mikey's going, and I actually tend to agree. It'll be an interesting discussion for sure.
All right, well, the pitch got trickier, by no means impossible. In fact, at times it seems very flat to bat on, and then at other periods it seems as if it's a minefield and the ball is leaping around all over the place and the batsman can't cope. Remember, Pakistan were 2 down overnight. Now, at the beginning, it was impossible for South Africa to strike. Everything was going wrong. This is one of the wickets that fell the evening before, and the other as well. So they were 2 down overnight, and you expected the night watchman to fall early. It didn't happen that way. When it eventually happened, wickets fell almost willy-nilly, but Duan Olivier was again the danger man.
Yeah, Duan Olivier bowled well again on this pitch, because this pitch is giving a bit of pace and bounce, and he created lots of problems with that bounce that he was getting throughout the innings. Some of those shots that you're seeing there, that particular shot, oh mercy, this is Test match cricket. He's a little bit low in the order to be criticizing him too much, but some of the approach of the Pakistani batsmen just was wanting.
But the South Africans made it very hard for them, Kevin.
Yeah,
It's
they
an
did.
impressive attack,
Yep.
a lot of good fast bowling, different lengths, challenging the minds of the Pakistan batsmen.
And that's it. It's all about temperament. I said yesterday at the start, I said, yesterday it would be all about temperament. And you could see the temperament of what's happening here and what's been happening over the last few weeks with the Pakistani batsmen. They have been faulted on wickets where they're not comfortable. And you can just see that. They're like rabbit in headlight. They just don't know what they're doing at the moment. They walk out to crease, they're just thinking, which ball has my number on it? But it's not the number of getting out. Which ball's going to pin me? And that's a problem when you bat.
The one partnership though, Mark, was going so well. Babar and Safra as the captain, they batted extremely well. But they just kept on playing shots. We showed a graphic yesterday where the partnership, all the balls they faced, they attacked 60% of the deliveries that they faced. You just mentioned it. The South African bowling attack is not a Mickey Mouse attack. It's a good bowling attack. You cannot bat against that sort of an attack and attack 60% of the balls you face, defend 15 and think you're going to get a good score. And batting in test match cricket, we're not talking about the shorter form of the game now. It takes a little bit of brain power, a little bit of thought, a little bit of application, and a little bit of commitment to the job. You cannot attack 6 out of 10 deliveries that you face and expect that you're going to be successful. Not at test match level.
Very few balls left alone, a number defended, but yes, attack was the main theme, and we're going to compare that actually with Temba Bavuma and Hashim Amla a little later in the day when they sucked it up against the Pakistan attack and set up de Kock later in the piece. There it is, a much more, I suppose if you like, common sense approach. Yeah,
that is test match cricket. This is not a one-day game that you have to be attacking every ball that you face. Amla showed his great experience, also his great skill. Bavuma, a lot less experience, but he showed thought. And that is what you do at test match level. It doesn't matter how much ability you have. If you don't think about what you're doing, if you don't apply yourself, if you don't show some commitment, you're not going to be successful.
Test cricket's about understanding the situation and playing to the situation. You first got to have a brain that goes, actually, this is what I need to do in the circumstances that I need to do it. The reason why Pakistan are so good in T20 cricket is because the game dictates the way you play.
Yep.
They know they need 180, they get 180. They know the leg spinner needs to do this, and fields are set in this way, they do it. Pakistan's problem is that they don't understand the situations and how to play situations. That way to bat is the proper way to bat in Test cricket. But the batting, yes, the bowling attacks are good and the wickets are what they are, but that was a much better partnership to show how you bat in Test cricket.
All right, well, let's wind the clock back to Babar Azam and Safraz because they played a lot of exciting shots. There was a good crowd in yesterday, a real vibe here, a lot of music going on. And during this period of counter-attack, everybody was alive in the stands. I mean, it was nothing if not entertaining.
Definitely, and they played some good shots. But the point is you cannot keep on batting like that throughout your entire innings. I've seen a lot of great batsmen that have gone out there and started off quite attackingly because they say we want to get the bowlers off their lines and lengths. They want to make sure that we get on top. But when you get on top, you don't keep on playing willy-nilly shots because you're going to get out unless you're batting against mediocre bowlers. And there are no mediocre bowlers here.
And that's fine, but what I'll say to counter that is that I think that's a better way for the Pakistanis to bat than to just wait for the ball to have the number on it. Because
initially,
this
KP.
And I get initially.
They can't keep on batting like that.
No, you can't keep batting that. But if you start that way and you get in, then maybe you should be able to rain down from 5th gear back to 3rd gear.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's a 5-day game.
All right, we've made a strong point. Let's move to the South African batting now because they didn't find it easy either. The ball's nipping around. Mohamed Abbas, Mohamed Amir, they're serious competitors, these guys.
Yep.
Have a look at these South African wickets. There's just enough there, isn't there, all the time?
There has been all series, hasn't there? Centurion, then down to Cape Town. There's just been something in it. And that's why I say, look at that shot there. That's an interesting shot for me, but that's the way that he plays apparently. But I think he's a better player than that, and I think that's what Tennis de Bruin, and that's what Mikey I think is saying. Understand the situation, play Test cricket the way Test cricket should be played. What Bavuma did yesterday, what the last two did, de Kock and Amla, I think is playing the situation, and that's what you need to do. If you want longevity in white clothing, you're going to have to do that.
Okay, well, we've just rustled at something that Mikey's keen to talk about. The amount of balls that Temba Bavuma left alone. Those are very tight leaves. Only two types of leave in a cricket game, a good one and a bad one.
A bad one, yes. And those are some good leaves. But it was important for him to bat that way because, remember at one point, South Africa were 40 odd for 4. You can't be 40 at before and think, oh, I'm going to blast my way out of this. If good balls come along, you've got to respect them and try and build an innings. And that's exactly what he and Amla did.
And the whole concept of a team performance sometimes come from people setting up things for others later. I remember in the series against the Australians, who would forget that Dean Elgar-Hashim Amla partnership that set up A.B. de Villiers a little later in the piece. And this happened yesterday because when Quentin de Kock came out to join Hashim Amla, it was suddenly a different game. It was a slightly tired attack. Quentin is a natural counter-attacker, and he played quite beautifully, didn't he, to change the gears of the game.
It's sometimes the unsung heroes that are the ones that do all the hard graft, and the number of balls that Elgar does take on his body gives the license to these guys. You have a look at some of the great sides that have played. There are those guys, and look at the England team that we played, and Alistair Cook. I mean, Alistair Cook stood there for hours and hours and hours and hours. Jonathan Trott, I mean, he bored the life out of everybody, but he did a job for the likes of myself, Bell, and everybody that followed.
Before that.
Absolutely. So there is a job to do, and it's about understanding. And the Pakistani team at the moment just don't understand how to play situations.
All right. Which isn't to say they're out of this game. They're
No, not at all.
Not 212 the advantage for South Africa. 5 second innings wickets in hand. So it's a strong position going into this third day's play. But imagine a very good morning for Pakistan. Imagine if they knock South Africa over quickly. Only have to chase 260, say. This is very much game alive at the Wanderers. Don't go away. Hello again from the Wanderers, and Makhaya and Tini just lining up exactly where he'd look to pitch the ball. We'll come to Makhaya in a moment. Meantime, let's get over to Mike Hazeman, who's with Ramiz Raja.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark. Okay, so I've got Ramiz alongside me, and we want to talk about the attributes of the Wanderers. Okay, Rambo, welcome to the touchscreen, by the way.
Thank you.
When you've played a number of games here at the Wanderers, when you come to the Wanderers, what are the two things as a batsman you think about and you know are going to be different?
Pace and bounce, bit of lateral movement if you're an opener, and so you've got to stick it hard and stay around and make sure that you read the pitch perfectly and look out for that bouncer.
And I'm thinking about Pakistan batting later. How difficult is it, that adjustment to make when you know and expect more pace and bounce?
Yeah, I mean, the way they batted, the way they've shaped up against the shorter ball, it's going to be difficult because it'll be Oliver versus Pakistan once again, and he's bounced them out, 15 times out of 21 wickets that he's taken. So it's going to be that kind of a scenario.
Okay, so we're going to prove here that it's not that pacey and there's not a great deal of bounce. I've got what we call a rail cam. Now, we're going to be comparing. Let me just let you know that we've got a blue stream that's going to be appearing, and we've got a red stream is Newlands. The blue stream is the Wanderers. Let's have a look for starters and check the bounce and also the pace. And you'll see
clearly low on pace, Wanderers, compared to Newlands.
Can I just explain this to our viewers as well, Rambo? Okay, release 137. This is the average, by the way, on day 2 of Newlands and also yesterday here at the Wanderers, and pre-bounce you expect that to be around about that. So when it's on the ground, it stays on the pitch a little bit longer, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting. You see that's changed a little bit, 117 to 110, and this, Rambo, is where the difference is. Now, it doesn't appear a great deal, 6 k's per hour.
Yeah.
But is it, for someone who's coming from playing in the UAE, is that a big difference?
It is a big difference. It's like a fast bowler bowling at 150 clicks, and suddenly, because of injury or whatever reason, his pace comes down to 147. That 3 kilometers difference is huge, because from 0.2 seconds, you are now being allowed to have a look at the ball at 0.3 or 4, which is a huge difference.
Right. Okay, so we mentioned the pace. This is slower. This is slower than Newlands. We mentioned the bounce, and as you can see, the bounce is the same. So there's no real change with the bounce as well. So what are the prospects batting second here, chasing some sort of total?
Sure. I mean, this pitch now allows you to be more on the front foot. You shouldn't be looking for the bouncer anymore, because it's not going to hurt you. It's about camping on the front foot, looking to see off the cracks and see off the lateral movement. It's got nothing to do, and you shouldn't be worried about the bouncer length, because it's a slow pitch compared to the last Test match.
Okay, you've mentioned the lateral movement. We've got some examples of some movement laterally yesterday. Have a look at this one ball that hits Barbara. I think it's the second one that rattles the rib cage. What about that?
Yeah,
I mean, that's movement. How difficult is this to combat?
Very difficult, because variation is huge, and it all requires one ball to hit the rib cage or the helmet, really, to dent your confidence. But the fact is that you can be more on the front foot here. So you should be looking to be on the front foot rather than playing from the crease. All these balls that were delivered in that good length area, you see the batsman shuffling in the crease and being a little static. Because the pitch doesn't have a lot of pace, it doesn't have that kind of bounce as well. It's a manageable bounce. All you've got to do is to look after the lateral movement and the cracks and be on the front foot.
And I might add, it's not just the Pakistan players, that's obviously Hassan Mahmood as well. So obviously South Africa is still batting, so there is a chance that Pakistan gets some key wickets this morning.
Absolutely, they've got to bowl tight, get Abbas and Amir in, let them bowl 10 over spell, and take it from there.
So what are your thoughts? What do you reckon is something
Hayes, it's going to be difficult. The way they've batted, they've not batted more than, 60 or 50 overs. So it's going to be tough for Pakistan, but fight they must. And put partnerships, see off the session, see off the new ball, bat well for 15 overs as an opening pair. Shan Masood has been in good form. Maybe get Babar Azam to bat at number 3, because he's looked rock solid. Get Azhar Ali batting at number 6. Few tweaks in the batting positions, and a lot of tweak in the mindset. I think mentality is going to really determine whether Pakistan are competitive or not.
Rambo, thank you. Nice to have you on board, by the way. Good stuff. Right, Mark, back to you.
Right, thanks, guys. There was a chaotic piece of cricket yesterday morning. Do you remember the mess up when catches were dropped and a run out was missed? Have a look at all this. That's the first one that goes down, Temba Bavuma, then Tiernas de Brain. Then there's a run-out chance. And there's the problem with Dale Stein's shoulder. Actually, that seemed to be okay. Stein furious, maybe at the missed chances, maybe at the pain in the shoulder. Another one goes down, huge dive. Quinton de Kock trying to cover a lot of ground. And another. And finally, a run-out. Amazing how it happens, isn't it, in this game? You can have perfect days and not such perfect days. We're actually in the slip positions now. Sean Pollock, Robbie Peterson and me, and we think we're lined up about where the guys were yesterday, don't we, Sean? We can drop them in, actually. Let's have a look and see how close we are. There we go. I could be a bit further forward, couldn't I? But that's about right. And it's quite a big gap, interestingly, Sean, between wicketkeeper and first slip.
It is. We've set the monitor where Quinton de Kock stands, and I think as a first slip what you do is you take your lead of where the keeper is. I think what we have seen with Quinny is that he takes an initial movement to the left and it almost makes that gap a little bit wide, and maybe that's why he's been forced to dive for those ones and launch his body. But at first slip you definitely take the lead, and then number 2 works off you. For me, I still think if I was at first slip and the distance I'm standing far back here, if I'm close, sure, I want Robbie tight because things happen very quickly. But I've got time to react here. I'm at least 20 meters back. I still would like Robbie just maybe meter further that way.
Yeah. Robbie, how do you feel about that? You want to come this way a bit?
Yeah, I just feel at the moment where the South Africans are standing and with you in the position, I feel you might even be a little bit too close to me. I feel like
so you want me more here and a little further forward.
Like Sean says, you have a lot of time at the Wanderers, so you feel that I don't want to, it's got to be instinctive for me. I can't think, is it his catch, is it my catch? I just want to go if I see it in the air. So to me, you going half a yard to your right, I feel a lot more comfortable whatever comes my way now.
Yeah, I just don't think you want to be cramped. We saw an example of Tinus de Bruin yesterday where he lunged to the right, dropped it, and the ball went through his hands. Basically, he didn't even take a deflection and hit Dean Elgar in the chest, which would tend to suggest that they were too close to each other. I mean, you want to be, if it misses Dean's hand, you see Tinus hasn't launched himself. He's just transferred his weight onto the right-hand side. That's carried comfortably, and that's hit Dean in the chest after it's beaten the hand. So for me, I think you just got to give yourself the best chance. Make sure the spacing is nice and comfortable. You don't want to be too close to each other. You don't want to be too far away from your wicketkeeper, and then that gives you the best chance of doing. So that's our thoughts on the slip catching. Mark, you've moved over to Makaya, and you've got some thoughts on the pitch.
Yeah, well, Makaya's been here studying these areas, these cracks where you think there's a real opportunity for the fast bowlers.
Thank you very much, Mark. Ladies, this is an area I just want to show you. This is the length that the bowlers will be looking at it. You can see there's a lot of dimples here that has been created by the new bowl. And then for me, it's one of the things that I will enjoy to bowl. And I know that Del Steyn, Vernon Philando, Kagiso Rabado, this is an area that they will love to have it and hit it. And then I have a bad news for you as a batsman. Boss, you have to just close your eyes and make a wish, because when he hits here, you're in trouble.
Right, okay, interesting. So serious cracks, serious indentations, batting not getting any easier. Very important to see what the South Africans can pull off this morning. I think we better hear from the South African batting coach, Dale Benkenstein. Isn't that the answer?
It'll be wonderful to hear what is he thinking.
Okay, let's do that.
Dale, what a situation. Dale 3, what a commanding position.
Yeah, I think going on, obviously, what's happened before, a commanding position, but in Test cricket, you'd never think 200 runs in the last innings is enough. We have obviously defended those sort of scores before, but as a from a batting point of view, I'd like to see us obviously really put the game away from Pakistan. They are a dangerous batting side, so hopefully we can start well in this next hour, or this first hour.
A question from Kevin Peterson. How quickly do you assess what the batsmen need to do? For example, he's concerned, he spoke about on comms, about Timber perhaps not knowing exactly where his off stump is when a left armer's bowling to him. How quickly do you assess that, and how do you work with that?
I mean, it's an ongoing thing, and every bat is different, so guys are strong in different areas. Some guys like to, keep a bit leg side of the ball because that's their scoring area. Generally, we're trying to stay on off stump, in South African conditions. But as you know, Test cricket's pretty tough. Got to give a bit of credit to the bowlers as well. I think when Temba got in, that specific dismissal in the first innings, the ball started to reverse a bit, and I thought, the Pakistanis bowled really well. And you've just got to be able to get through that, and he just wasn't able to get through it. If you look at his form, he's in really good nick, and I don't think he's got much of a problem now.
You've captained a lot. You've been frustrated by the first hour yesterday. What happened?
Yeah, poor. You can't really put your finger on it. You say all the right things, and guys go out there, and I would say maybe the one issue is we've had a pretty consistent slip cordon, and with Faf there as a captain, he's quite calm. He sort of commands everything there. Quinny as well, he's taken some unbelievable catches that we just sort of take for granted. So he suddenly puts 2 down at full stretch, and we're all starting to worry. So I think those were a couple of factors. The great positive thing is that we kept creating the chances. We never sort of gave up, and we actually took some good ones in the end. But it was a frustrating hour.
Thanks for your time. Have a good day.
Pleasure. Ciao.
Very important what Dale said there about, the positive aspect of the mistakes yesterday is we are creating a lot of chances. Does that keep bowlers' spirits high, or is the drop catch something that knocks you badly?
I think, Mark, it's very simple. As a bowler, you can't be caught up on what has happened earlier on. You have to switch off when those things happen. When you get a drop, you can't be really focusing on that and put your mind into it. You have to go back and start bowling again.
So that's a
very
talent,
important.
isn't it, to clear your head?
Indeed, that's very important. What Dell has said there, that it's a way of showing that there is opportunities that they're coming through. But for them, they need to prepare even better. And then you guys have shown that with Sean Pollock that they need to give themselves a room in between.
Okay.
So that you know that where the ball is gets nicked and then where is it going to.
Okay, let's change the subject and move it forward to the last innings of this match, because there's going to come a point at which the South African bowlers are on their own. If South Africa are going to win the game and take the series 3-0, they've got to knock Pakistan over in the final innings of the match. Do you feel that pressure as a bowler?
Most definitely. If you are bowling last, there's always a pressure because you need to make sure that you're bowling to win the game, not to bowling just to defend or trying to get the team, to give your opportunity for your batters to chase the score. Now you need to be very smart at what you're doing. You are bowling in the plan that you want to take wickets to win the series.
Okay, and that's a plan you will have made with captain and coach, is it?
Indeed, they have to understand exactly what you're doing.
Who were the easiest bowlers to work with for you? I imagine Sean was good.
Now, Sean, it was he was the person that opens the door. Every length that you bowl, I'm actually learning from it. And then I know what length I need to be bowling for my end as well, because seeing how he deliver, how he hit the wicket, and then I'll go to him and says, what length do you think we should be bowling in this particular wicket?
Okay, fascinating. Thank you for your time.